EA Sports just revealed a massive update for Madden 26. We're talking gameplay, franchise mode, new equipment, face scans, presentation, everything you can think of. So we're going to go over all of the notes that just dropped and let you know everything that's changing for Madden 26. This is the biggest update of the year so far. And if you never want to miss out on any of the important updates or news about Madden 26 for the rest of the year, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you don't miss any of these important videos when they go live. We're getting close to 700,000 subscribers. If everybody watching just subbed, we could hit those numbers in a few days. So let's start with gameplay, and the first thing they're touching on is pass blocking. They added a new coaching adjustment option allowing you to set your default pass protection scheme. You could choose from base, empty, half left, half right, full right, or default. For players who don't want the built-in pass protections on passing plays, we have included a new coaching adjustment to allow players to choose the default protection for all drop back passing plays. When toggling this option in, players will still have the ability to change their protection before the play via the pass protection adjustments menu. So this is the same change that they just made last week for college football. If you open up your coaching adjustments, there's going to be a new option where you can set your pass blocking to base by default, which a lot of players like to play on because it's just more predictable just to know how your line's going to block on every given play. They also fixed an issue sometimes causing the pass protection adjustment menu to get stuck in the open state after selecting a protection adjustment. That was pretty annoying, so glad they got that fixed. They made improvements to blocking logic for better targeting and improved protection on shotgun play action plays, kind of another area that they needed to work on, so glad to hear that. There was tuning done to shorten the wait time after failed pass rush moves to improve pocket degradation over time. And they also enhanced QB contain logic to ensure defenders contain more effectively. This was a two-part fix where we fixed disengages from the blocks in pursuits of the quarterback scrambling outside the pocket. For the second part, we resolved an issue where defenders would incorrectly abandon their contain assignments in favor of executing pass rush moves. I mean, if you've been playing Madden for years, you've been on my channel for years, we know contains, they're always up and down. Some years they're better than others, some years they're awful. They're constantly tweaking and fixing them. I don't really know what the issue is with contains, but hopefully they should perform better when this update drops. Moving on to the run game, here's a very big one they finally addressed. They fixed an issue allowing a short artificial speed boost to the ball carrier when using truck in the open space, also known as the air truck tactic. The truck animations and transitions from truck to locomotion have been modified to more accurately reflect the movement speed of the ball carrier as the truck ends, and the transition has been tuned to keep the speed more consistent. So this is something a lot of pro level players and online players were doing to get a little bit of a speed boost. Was one of the more annoying things in the game, so I'm glad they quickly got that addressed. They fixed an issue causing duo run plays to be mislabeled as inside zone plays. They decreased the frequency of power non-engaged sheds on run plays. That's another good fix. They added shed timers for defenders who lost their previous defensive move on passing plays. And edge defenders will now steer towards their outside gap for longer to help set the edge on run plays. That's another good fix there. I like what I'm hearing. Moving on to the passing game, they increased the minimum for stem down routes from 1 yard to 3 yards. Huge change right here. When using the route stemmed feature, certain stem down routes, particularly corner routes, became too powerful and difficult to fairly and or realistically defend. As a result, the minimum stem depth allowed now is 3 yards. The intent of this change is to preserve the structure and timing of the route while enabling more realistic and balanced defensive reactions. This is something that's been an issue since last year when they put it in the game. It's just been abused for too long, so they finally made a slight adjustment there, and that is a really good fix. They resolved an issue where auto motion receivers would continue their motion during the quiet the crowd animation. Users can no longer quiet the crowd during auto motion. That was another small little kind of glitch people were using. It wasn't that hard to defend, but still shouldn't have been in the game, so it took them a little bit longer than I'd liked for them to get that fixed, but it is now fixed. They fixed an issue preventing behind the line special moves from working when using gadget players in the QB spot and wildcat formations. They just fixed that in college football as well, so they brought that over here to Madden. They fixed an issue causing wide receivers to sometimes use fake out footwork off the snap with no defender nearby. And they fixed an issue preventing the appropriate frequency of catch knockouts when throwing to a receiver covered by multiple defenders. Another huge fix. I mean, depending on who you ask, of course. Some people just love throwing the ball into triple coverage and catching it. It's not realistic to do it as much as it happens in this game. This was the main issue leading to receivers holding on to aggressive catches too much in crowds when the ball should have been knocked out. With this update, outcomes on aggressive catch attempts now more accurately reflect the ratings and physical matchups of the players involved when there is collision at the catch point. Again, if you're throwing one-on-ones, yeah, you should catch those sometimes. You're throwing in double and triple coverage, you shouldn't catch them at as high of a rate as they do, at least online. If people are playing against CPU, I don't know how it really works there, but in online competitive style games, it happens way too often. They fixed an issue causing illegal man downfield penalties to trigger incorrectly on certain play action boot plays, and they fixed an issue causing no look passing animations to sometimes trigger on quick throws like bubble screens. Now we're going to continue on with more of the updates, but really quickly I want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog. If you like sports and you like winning money, then you've got to be on Underdog playing their pick'em game. Basically all you do is pick higher or lower on player stats, and if they hit, you can win some big money. And if you sign up using my code RAY, R-A-Y, they're going to give you $50 in bonus credit after you play just $5. So you can't beat that. I mean, you get $50 free for simply playing $5. And on top of that, they're also going to give you a free play when you sign up. It'll be a player like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, where all they got to do is get a single yard. It's just a free play to get you started. And on top of that, you get that $50 in bonus credit. Make sure to use my code RAY, R-A-Y. Link is in the pinned comment below. Moving on to pass coverage, they added a new catching adjustment setting to set the safety depth at 16 yards. This is known as the loose coverage setting in your coaching adjustments. They did this for the college update last week as well, so of course they carried that over to Madden. And the same with a lot of these fixes right here, because both games have a lot of the same issues or play the same way in certain ways. So they updated hook defender depth with underneath coverage adjustment to play at 5 yards of depth to be better in position to play short routes like drag routes. So when you shade your zones underneath, your hook zones will play more aggressively now. This works really good in college after the update, so it should be the same here for Madden. They updated hook defender depth with over-the-top adjustment to play at 12 to 18 yards. Same thing they did for college as well. Updated vertical hook zone logic so that they will not match when using coaching adjustments or custom zone stems. They updated press animation logic to ensure defenders trigger press animations requested by the user at the line of scrimmage. And they fixed an issue in goal line defense causing the receiver and heavy personnel formations to be completely uncovered. Here's some other really important fixes, especially if you're online players. Pre-play controls. They updated logic so that the offense cannot instantly flip the play or audible to a new formation when walking out of the huddle. This really just messes the defense up because the defense can't really match the speed of the offense when they just instantly start flipping. And it's really just not realistic either. So glad that they've addressed that. They also standardized the hot route timer for all QBs when breaking the huddle. So this new timer applies to how long users need to wait after flipping a play or audibling to a new formation. Stemming a route also counts as a hot route when breaking the huddle. Signature animations for players like Mahomes now have consistent responsiveness, resulting in all quarterbacks having the same hot route timing. So some quarterbacks would just take longer to hot route because of their signature animations, which is just kind of annoying. So they've kind of, fixed that so that it's consistent, which is pretty good. They also did some stuff with AI and game logic here. They did tuning to the Bills' home field advantage to reduce the excessive kick meter wobble. They did some tuning to improve AI control team's clock management, preventing it from calling timeouts right before punting when losing by a large margin. Fixed an issue sometimes causing a crash when setting QB throw style. Fixed an issue in goal line defense causing the receiver and heavy personnel to be uncovered. And they fixed a rare issue causing players online to sometimes appear with generic player models and wearing the incorrect uniform numbers such as 11 or 22. I saw this even last year as well. It's not something that happens too often. Like, it might happen once every 50 games or 100 games or something like that, but definitely pretty annoying. So glad that they got that fixed. Now let's move on to presentation. Broadcast packages. They fixed an issue with missing stats in the last week's stats banner after a bye week. Fixed an issue with stat leaders banners from pass yards disappearing too quickly. They fixed an issue preventing draft class banner from appearing during a Sunday night primetime game. For NFL traditions, they fixed a camera issue for the Cardinals' Big Red Siren tradition with their run out. For the halftime show, they fixed the issue with missing highlights after using the resume game option. And they fixed an inconsistency with the score showing during a highlight from a game in progress and the subsequent around the league banner. And they also did some more tuning here, as you can see on the screen, for the halftime shows and the weekly recap. Just some other little issues they cleaned up. Moving on to franchise mode. They fixed an issue where certain players would be playing out of position. This was super huge. One of the biggest issues of the game, honestly. This issue was tied to the progressive fatigue setting. We have now removed the setting as we have introduced wear and tear management. We're also addressing an issue where wear and tear sliders are not in franchise and looking to implement them in a future title update. So progressive fatigue has just kind of been an issue for people since it's been put in the game. I think if it's something that you don't manage perfectly, it just causes players to be tired at the end of the season. You have offensive players playing on defense and vice versa. Now with wear and tear, progressive fatigue is kind of redundant, so they removed it, and they're going to be adding those wear and tear sliders in a future update, which is huge as well. So that should fix those issues, which I think was probably one of the biggest deals in franchise, in my opinion. They fixed an issue with the nose tackle archetype's overall formula that was causing it to appear different on the front end. So sometimes you would see like nose tackles at a 99 overall, for example. So they fixed that. They fixed an issue where some draft generators were using wrong body types. They said this specific change will not apply to existing leagues until the next draft class is generated, but most of these other fixes should apply to your already existing leagues right now. They addressed an issue with importing and exporting draft classes where incorrectly changing player and body types. That is another annoying one. It says this update will not address existing draft classes already in the league, so you have to generate new classes again for that to take place. They addressed an issue where players sustaining a low back strain injury was treated as a career-ending injury, fixed an issue where coaches and trainers were unlocking abilities in the wrong order, and they addressed an issue where the will position was prioritized over the sand position in the depth chart when using the reorder feature. They also said, we are aware of an existing case when a head coach leaves a league, the CPU automatically promotes the team's existing offensive and defensive coordinator without hiring a backfill. We are investigating the issue to be addressed in a future update. For Superstar mode, they fixed an issue where the season stats were not accessible. They addressed the QB combine drills, and they resolved an issue where selected gear would appear in the wrong uniform. So few small fixes there for the Superstar players. We also have some stuff here that was done with the UI. They fixed a crash when entering custom playbooks. Definitely saw a lot of people complain about that, so glad they got that cleaned up. They fixed an issue with avatar portraits not showing in the halftime report. They fixed issues with some in-game banners not showing data or showing incorrect data and other various polish. Now moving on to player likeness. Now I will make a video tomorrow showing all the new player likeness, showing the new equipment and other little things that they added, because a lot of times with these updates, they don't put all of the stuff in these notes. Like sometimes there's more equipment or more player likeness or more little things that were added that they don't mention. However, they did mention here that a number of players are getting their player likeness in. Some of the people on this list are already in the game, so I'm not sure why they're on this list. But for example, players like Will Johnson, Matthew Golden, Travion Henderson, Omarion Hampton, Quinshawn Judkins, for example, a lot of these rookies are going to be added in this update. I will make a video tomorrow when the update goes live, going over all of the new player likeness, because again, there's probably going to be players that they're not listed here that are going to be in there. And they also are adding a number of new equipment, new Nike cleats, 6 new face masks for the Axiom helmet. If you play college, you've probably seen both of these already because they were put in the college game last week. They're adding new coach wristbands for the players, and they're adding new undershirt combos with color options so you can do the sleeves, I believe, and the compression shirts. I believe that's what that means. So again, I will make a separate video on all of this little stuff tomorrow so you can see the stuff that's changed. But these are the notes for the update today. And while you're here, there are some very important settings that you need to know about in Madden 26 if you want to get the best out of your gameplay. So if you want to know what those are, make sure you check out this important video right here on the screen.